Hey everyone, Kelly Dean Allen here. Let's learn how to play everyone's favorite track from the Silence of the Lambs soundtrack, shall we? And American Girl by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. This one's been rattling around in my head for days now, so I finally had to sit down and learn how to play it. Figured that I'd share the love and show you guys how to play it as well. So then, we are in standard tuning for this tutorial, and I suppose the best place to start is right at the very beginning with that rather well-known jangly intro that this one kicks off with. So let's dig into that right now. Good then, so the beginning of this track, it has layered guitars. There's like multiple guitars going on here. One of them is just doing this. Just sliding into a D note here at the 5th fret of the A string. We're just going to disregard that one. But Tom is down here in D. So I'm going to show you what Tom's doing first for like the first 14 bars of this track. And it's just all D. Everybody's playing D. You know, there's D's up here, and there's D's down here, and there's a D going on here. So Tom starts off like this. Plays something like that. He kind of hammers into the D chord here, not worrying too much about the high E string here. Hammers off the open G into the D chord. Grabs the B string up to the D string, back down to the B string, right? Lets it ring. And then he kind of just starts strumming away on this D chord for like 14 bars. Quick little hammer-ons from that open G, very quick. Now, that is not the prominent guitar. The prominent guitar is what Mike Campbell is doing up here with these octaves. 7th fret of the G string, 10th fret of the high E. Muting the B string in between with the pad of your index finger, which is sitting on that 7th fret, right? We're also hitting the open D here as well. So he's hammering away on these octaves, right? It starts with 3 downstrokes of these octaves. Kind of like that, right? And then he starts strumming it. Right, and like I said, it goes on for like 14 bars at the beginning of this track, and it never varies. It just stays in that, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 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 like I said, at about the 6th bar, maybe the 8th bar, another guitar joins. Just starts sliding into that D note there, and that's it. That goes on for, like I said, 14 bars at the beginning of this track before the first verse kicks in. And so let's have a look at that right now, the first verse and the chorus. All right, so the first verse. So Mike drops out of this into this for the first verse. Playing these little triads. The first one is a D, 2, 3, 5. Then he moves it up 2 spots to E, exact same chord shape. Then he moves it up 3 spots to G, again, exact same chord shape. And then 2 more spots to A. And those are the same chords that Tom is playing, more cowboy chord form, right? And that repeats twice. And what Tom is doing is this. D, E major, G, down to A major. Repeat. D, E major, G major, to A major. Now, there's the verse here, there's kind of like 2 separate sections to the first verse, and then there's kind of the pre-chorus and then the chorus. So that's the first section of the first verse. And then we drop into this. So that's kind of the second section of the first verse. So we're in this A, and we're going to hang in this A coming out of the first section, right? E major, G, and we go into A here. Now we're going to hang in A. And then we're going to play that. So we're going to hit that A kind of like 3 times. And then we're going to go open A, 2, 4, and drop into a D. And then you're going to pick the notes out of that D chord. Just going to ride down the strings and back up to the B string, right? Then you're going to go off to open E, 2, and then drop into a G chord. And then strum that G chord 2 or 3 times, right? Then you're going to go off to G flat and then off to E minor this time, not E major like we did the first time. Strum that E minor a little bit, right? And now this is the pre-chorus, and we're going to drop into this. All in A. So we're going to hit this A power chord or A major chord twice, right? And then we're going to hit it again, and we're going to drop the octaves here on the 5th fret of the B and the high E string with your pinky. Right? It may be a second guitar, you know, a different guitar. Tom may be just staying in A like that, right? And maybe another guitar is doing that, but to play it on one guitar, that's what you can do, right? So A, octaves, repeat it 4 times. But the 3rd and 4th time, drop the octaves. Just stay in A. Right, so that's kind of the pre-chorus. Oh, sorry. And that leads into the chorus. But before we get to the chorus, let's recap. E minor, major, G, A, D, E major, G, A, stay in A, pre-chorus, all in A, drop the octaves. Now we're going to go to G for the chorus. And then we're going to go off to A. So we're going to start the chorus in G, and then before we go to A, we're going to grab a single note here at the 2nd fret of the A string, and then drop off to A and add those octaves again. Right? After hitting the A 2 or 3 times, then the 3rd or 4th time you hit those octaves, right? And then you drop into D, and then we're going to drop into B minor, which we have not touched upon yet, but it's only used at this point in the chorus. So off to D, then into B minor, back to G, grab that note again, off to A, grab the octaves, back into the jangly bit. Right, so that is the first verse and the chorus. So let's recap that, yeah? When he goes to B at that point, Mike's up here doing these little bends, double stops, right? On the 9th fret of the G, grabbing the double stop on the 7s of the B and the high E, right? And he kind of repeats that 2 or 3 times. Kind of like that, right? So that is the verse, pre-chorus, and chorus. Repeat, E major, G, A, second part. Pre-chorus. Chorus. Into B, back to G, jangly bit, and then we drop into the second verse. Second verse, exactly the same as the first verse. A second chorus, same as first chorus, and then we drop into the bridge. So let's have a look at that now. All right, the bridge. and that repeats 4 times. 3rd fret of the low E string, hit it 3 times, and then you're going to go 3, 4, 5. Hit that 5 twice. And then drop down to the 5 of the A. And then string skip down here to the G string, and then go 5, 6, 7. Right? I think he's picking each note. 5, 6, 7. And that repeats 4 times, and then we go back into the jangly section again. Right, another one. And that leads into the outro solo. So let's have a look at that outro solo now. Now the outro solo goes a little something like this. And then you repeat that, right? So we're up here on the 15th fret of the B string, just playing between the 15 of the B and the 14 of the high E. Just going back and forth, right? And every second time you go to that 14, you're going to hit it twice, and then you repeat the whole thing 3 times. Now, the final time here, we're just going to do a straight shot, 15, 14, 15, 14. Then you're going to back up to the 12 of the B, slide it into 14, and grab the 12 of the high E. Right? And then you repeat the whole thing. Double hit. Double hit. Right? And you repeat that twice. And then we drop into this clever little lick. So I think he's hybrid picking this, picking with his ring finger or middle finger every one of those notes on the B string, right? And then the G string he's using his pick. You can use your pick, sounds just fine, If you can't hybrid pick. So we're going to drop a little bar here on the 7th fret of the G and the B string. And then we're going to pull off from 10 off to the bar, starting on that 7th fret of the G, and then you're going to pull off from 8 off to 7, and then repeat 4 times. Kind of like that, right? But much faster. Then you're going to move it up 2 spots, play the exact same thing. Then you're going to move it up 3 spots. Now we have a bar on the 12th fret. But we're going to shift here. We're not going to pull off of the 13. We're going to pull off of the 14 after the 15. Right? And then we're going to move it up 2 more spots. Now the bar is on the 14. And then we're going to go back to the original position. We're going to pull off 17 and 15. Right? And then you repeat it as the song's fading out. And that, my friends, is how you play American Girl by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Certainly hope you enjoyed the video, found it helpful. If you did, please hit that like button, drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that would be awfully kind and helpful to the growth of my channel. I hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world, and we will see you next time. Cheers.